the Managing Director and CEO of First Bank of Nigeria, Dr. Adeshola Adedotan, says the latest robust earnings announced by his parent company, FBN Holdings PLC, was a result of a strategy that was put in place back in 2016 and thoroughly executed even through the pandemic periods of 2020 and 2021. In an exclusive interview with Arise News on Tuesday, Dr. Adedotan spoke to the bank's loan book, its digital banking business, trade financing, as well as Pan-African operations. Enjoy our conversation. What were the key drivers of your 2021 full-year earnings and the very impressive numbers you also released for the first quarter of the new year 2022?
Thank you, Bosin. The result, from our perspective, is the outcome of what I call very ruthless execution of our business strategy. As you are probably aware as an industry watcher, from 2016, we've actually made a public announcement that we do have challenges with our loan book. And we set out what we call a 6-year transformation plan, focusing on revamping our risk architecture and strategy, our go-to-market strategy, and our focus on the international banking subsidiaries. So we've been very faithful in executing the strategy. So what we are seeing, and so if you look at our result over the last 6 years, you have been seeing gradual improvement. And what the 2021 audited result showed clearly is that we are practically at the tail end of that entire program, where for the first time, both First Bank, which is the operating company, and FBN Holdings, we posted what the market has fairly acknowledged as a very significant improvement. And for us, repeating the same trend in Q1 2022 was quite significant because, again, it's easy to dismiss what happened in 2021, but by repeating the same level threshold of performance in Q1 2022, we've demonstrated clearly that the changes that have taken place over the last 6 years are not what I call superficial changes, deep-seated changes to the way we engage with customers. We've made very significant investment in technology. We've made very significant investment in people. We've invested significantly in our overseas subsidiaries, both within the continent and in the UK. And so what you're seeing is a combination of several strategic initiatives that have been well executed.
Drill down a little bit further into the NPL for me, from a high of 25 to about 6% for last year. When are you looking to meet regulatory threshold, perhaps even lower than that?
Thank you. When we started the journey in 2016, the truth of the matter is the number you mentioned is roughly where our NPL was then. And we've been very meticulous in updating the market in terms of walking down the NPL. And it's probably one of the very few success stories in this part of the world where you've walked down NPL from the high of like almost 30% down to where we are now at about 6%. Our expectation is that within the next 12 to 18 months, we should fall squarely within the regulatory threshold of 5%. The work that we've done in revamping the risk management architecture of the institution, looking at people, policy, process, customer acquisition, is what has led to this dramatic walk down of the NPL that has built up, that was previously built up. But more importantly, implementing those different strands of risk management architecture, the revamp that I mentioned, has also ensured that the new portfolio that has been built over the last 6 to 6.5 years are top-notch names. So we call it vintage NPL. Our vintage loan book, the NPL there is barely 0.5. And that for us is actually the new credit culture that we have created within this institution. Not just in Nigeria, we've ensured that that new credit culture is fully embedded in Nigeria and in all the locations where we operate.
Many businesses are still scratching their head out of the COVID-19 2020-2021 period. Here you are delivering a very robust performance for 2021, and some of the problems of the 2020 are still around. So how did you do that?
For us at First Bank, and I alluded to it in my opening remark, we set out a strategy to say this is what we want to do, but an integral part of our strategic plan implementation is what we call engaging the market, continuously refining the strategy in the light of the way you see the industry and the whole world evolve. For us, we saw it clearly before COVID that digitization is the way to go. Empowering your customers to be able to transact seamlessly, whether within the comfort of their home or whether they are flying, irrespective of where they are. So we actually started out, and when I mentioned it that we made significant investment in technology and digitization, that entire process started in 2016. What COVID, however, did was that it basically forced us to accelerate what it was that we've set out to do. And we're extremely proud of what we've achieved today. First Bank today, we process more than 20% of the electronic payments in the Nigerian banking system. So when you just imagine that there are over 25 banks, 5 of us are systemically important, and a single bank is processing over 20% of the entire volume in the industry, it speaks to our systemic importance, our systemic relevance, and our systemic dominance. And when you also look at the fact that that's First Bank, in terms of biological age, we're actually by far the oldest of the Tier 1 banks. And we've made this significant progress in the area of digitization. It speaks to vision. It speaks to what I call very ruthless execution of strategy. And we are unrelenting because we're very clear. We've had about 6 years where things were a bit slow on account of dealing with the bad loan book. But now that we are virtually done with that, our focus is restoring us to our rightful place, which we believe with what we've done in 2021 and with what we repeated in Q1 2022, we're on the right course, whether you're looking at the banking business in Nigeria or you're looking at within the sub-Saharan African context. We believe we are poised to take our rightful position.
Your Pan-African footprints, how are you working that out? How many more countries are you ready to go? What are you investing in these African countries where you operate?
Our vision is to be African banks of first choice. That vision itself was crafted on the back of the coming into force of the African Continental Free Trade Agreement. So today we operate from about 6 other African countries. And then obviously we do have a big bank in the UK. Our vision is that over the next couple of years, in all the markets that matters most on the continent, you will see our footprint in those locations.
What are your strategies for local, international footprints? There are a whole lot of headwinds. How are you meeting this within the strategy you've been executing between 2016 and 2022?
If there's any institution or any financial institution that is synonymous with supporting SME, is our bank, First Bank. In fact, we do have an integrated platform we call SME Connect, where we basically facilitate the SMEs that are banking with us, giving them access to various service providers, accountant, guys, people who can help them with HR. And because for us, we've always believed that the real growth of the economy will come from the growth of the SME sector. So whether you're looking at unemployment, you are looking at production of goods and services, that is a very, very important segment. And that's what we're focusing on. Highlight to that is the work that we're doing around financial inclusion, which again help us to bring the unbanked into the formal banking system. That way, the whole essence of getting the whole economy digitized becomes a complete circle. So a lot is happening in that space, and then we are they fall squarely within our own business strategy, and we're pushing the frontier there.
Fintech is at the back of your e-banking business and digital banking. So are you investing in any fintech company? Are you buying anyone?
All I would say is that digital banking is the way to go. We've built a very formidable e-business / digital banking franchise as First Bank. Continue to grow that part of our business organically, and if an opportunity presents itself for us to do any inorganic growth, we'll look at it. For us, we don't do transactions for the fun of doing the transaction. We look at, with this opportunity, will it accrete real value for our stakeholders? If the answer is yes, we go for it. If the answer is no, irrespective of the potential noise or opportunity that comes from it, we back out of it. So anywhere you see First Bank, it's about accreting values for our stakeholders.
Let's talk a little bit about SMEs. They are very critical to the economy, but what other value is First Bank adding to your own customers around the SME circuit business that makes them quite important on your book?
Well, it's about building your strategy around what is important to the country. First Bank is woven into the fabric of the society. What does that mean? We set out sometimes in 2017, 2018. We said, this whole financial inclusion, could this be executed in a profitable manner? And that for us was what led to the creation of our First Money brand, which today is by far the largest and the most successful bank-led agency banking business. Today we have over 170,000 First Money agents, which is owned 100% by First Bank, in all the nooks and crannies of this country. In fact, we are the only financial institution that is present in all the 774 local government of this country. And that has now enabled us to leverage that platform to do many things. Open new accounts, distribute goods and services, and we're just, in our view, the structure is already in place, and we're just beginning to even tap all the various opportunities that will come with that formidable franchise that we have built in Nigeria. And we've started building in other locations where we operate on the continent. Again, for us, the success story in Nigeria is now currently being replicated in some of our other very important markets. We are a food service bank. And what do I mean? We serve everybody across the entire economic spectrum. The folks at the base of the pyramid, the mid-tier people, and the affluent and the high net worth individuals before you now get into the corporate. And we are fully set up to do that.
Give me a bit of an outlook into the new year, the full year 2022 that we're currently on. What is your new strategy beyond what you've executed so far since 2016 to date?
The success story regarding our share price is not unexpected. When the problem kicked in 2016, our share price dropped as low as 2 naira 50 kobo or thereabout, about 2 naira 70 kobo actually. So what you are seeing today, just like I mentioned, the outcome, the result, it's a combination of what I call very diligent execution of our strategy that has seen value accrete to our stakeholders. We are very clear on the direction of travel. The strategy that we believe will take us to our destinations have been well articulated. Subject that strategy to continuous refinement on the back of what we see around us and what we see globally. And we believe we have the people, right from the board up to the most junior people. Everybody is aligned to this objective of making our bank, First Bank, African bank's first choice. The strategy round, we have a 5-year cycle, but in between those cycles, we continuously refine. So the one we're running, we've completed it. We have another one that kicked off in 2020, And that's the one we're running now. But even that I've mentioned, then it's not static. Strategy itself is continuously being, subjected to refinement on the back of development around you. But the broad directions are clear, the visions are crystal clear, the critical stakeholders, the board, the shareholders, the employee, we are all aligned on where we would like to see the institution. And for me, therein lies the strength of our franchise, that alignment.
That's exclusive with Dr. Adeshola Adedotan of First Bank of Nigeria.